Hey, darling. Hi.
Hello, welcome.
Hi. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yes, I
Yes,
do.
ma'am.
Hi,
No, it sounds
Michelle.
horrible.
I just wanted to come on and
Awesome.
say hi. And I'm so excited because I was telling Lily I got the book.
Look.
Ah!
See?
Absolutely. Isn't it fascinating?
Yes. When I first got it, it opened up coincidentally right to the Satan chapter. I thought that was fascinating.
Yeah.
Instantly possessed. You're done. You're cooked. You better start
She
rubbing
can
that
fill in
crystal.
a lot of gaps.
I know Michelle's got a crystal nearby. You better start rubbing that thing. Ward them demons off.
Right. I've got a whole thing in here and quite a few. You're right. I always
Yep,
have my
yep.
crystals. And I have my laptop too. See? So you can see the chat at the
Awesome. That's
same
a big
time.
Yeah,
crystal.
that's a good way to
Yes.
do it. That's what I'm doing over here too.
That's the only way.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you can't see what people are saying in the chat.
Right.
Well,
Yeah.
this is kind of a special treat um, to be able to spontaneous. Monica just came on. She was talking about her journey and spontaneously, and I popped in. Um, and I'm going to be moved in a couple days, and we'll be doing this. But I really love and welcome, the people like Michelle and Culty Talk and all the others that want to go down these pathways with us. Monica has already gone down this pathway. She just picked it back up. One thing was because I asked her, I said, Monica, I said, there are still some people who are attached to the concept of organized religion as being our savior or as being the pathway that we need to go through in order to be acceptable to ourselves and to others. And I said, can you get on that? And then the next thing I know, she's reading this book that she'd already had for a couple years.
Lily, hang on a second. I'm working right now. I'll be right
She has to do
I,
She's
something.
got to. She's got to go sell some trees.
No, I agree with you with what you're saying. That people are stuck in that. Even like, don't you think people kind of have a savior complex when it comes to politics too? You're seeing it with Trump. Like,
yeah,
everyone thinks he's a savior. It's like ingrained in us to have this savior mentality of someone's going to save us. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
Well,
And one of the things that Monica and I had hoped would come across to people is not that we're, quote, pro Trump or against Trump. We open the pathway that if he is going to be a positive force for change to allow more information that has ever come out before to finally come out, then we hold that heart space that he should take that higher purpose choice and be willing to do it, because that would be a great awakening for millions and billions, just the deconstructing of some of these safely guarded, secretly guarded, but they've been safekeeping them so regular people didn't realize how much of a little tiny cage they keep us in.
Right.
Everything.
And no matter what, he's part of the plan. That's kind of a funny thing to say with the trust the plan stuff crowd, but he's part of the plan when it comes to he's there for a reason. He's on the world stage for a reason. He's part of the journey that we're going through and whatever that may be. So there's a reason for that too.
Yeah.
bingo. Right. He doesn't even know the full reason. Nobody does yet.
Right.
Yeah. Yep. And I, you use that term, trust the plan. Oh my gosh, boy, that sets off a lot of triggers in my mind.
Drives me
Um,
crazy.
I want people to not, quote, trust the plan. You gave the plan a shot. A lot of things were promised from going into 2016. And then the concept of you got to drain the swamp. And how deep is the swamp? But then there comes a point when the concept of trusting the plan like we as XJWs all know, we would have trusted the plan till we were 10 feet under in the ground if they
Yep.
had their way.
That paradise is coming. Armageddon's always coming.
Yep.
Mhm.
And
Free
so
beer tomorrow.
I really want people to, yes, have some faith, have some hope, have some trust, and that there is groups of people that are out there. They call them the Alliance. Some people call them the White Hats, but I think what I've heard is that the White Hats is sort of like the foot soldiers, like the Jimmies and Jimmy Bells and different people like that, you know, the ones who are doing their part. But the Alliance is supposedly a group, this is what I've heard, a group from all areas of life and in high military and governmental life that said, this isn't working, and I'm going to throw my hand in the group to go hand in hand with others who want to stop the crimes against humanity. And that is a noble cause, but yet, as long as it's not about another disinformation of keeping those wanting to stop the crimes against humanity sequestered in a trust the plan little pond. We have to push them, you know, and that's what I want to see people like Jimmy Bell do, is push them to hold up their end of the bargain. And that's what Jeff is dealing with, the people that he listens to. And there's not very many. There's only a few that I actually hear saying, come on, where's the evidence? Come on, you need to release this. You know, the people who said, trust it, they got it all under control. They're seeing it's not, quote, all under control.
You
And that
can't,
is
you can't. This is all coming from a top-down media control.
Yep.
Why on the earth is anybody putting their complete faith and trust in anything coming outside of the plastic box?
Yep.
Why? Trust the plan. What plan and from who? Somebody you've never met inside of a plastic box. Now, do these people exist for real? Of course, I'm not delusional. But this is most people that you know in your life, your own husband, father, son, grandparent, coworker is going to let you down. And you think somebody that you've never met that has an agenda is not going to let you down?
Right. That's a good point.
The grain of salt is, you know, a boulder here.
Right.
You know?
Also putting the faith in like one man. That's kind of
that's
crazy.
bullshit. That's not even, it's not even possible. And they know this. And that's what I don't understand is every single person here has enough earth years behind them to remember. I don't know what they're doing to people because I don't watch broadcast television. Do I watch it? Of course I do. An hour a year. So I don't know what they're doing to people, but they keep saying the same shit.
Programming.
For the past 30 years that I can remember. I mean, just like the other day on his Congress speech, and I get like I agree with Jimmy Bell. He's like a bro to me, and we see a lot of things the same way where I get it. It's not about just one thing. There's things are complicated. There's people on the inside. There's people on the outside. There's people throwing monkey wrenches and shit. I totally get all of that. But like whenever it was the other week with his Congress thing, I don't care who it was. It's the exact same verbatim words. I almost wanted to go like look up old speeches or something like, man, y'all said those exact same 100 words in 1989.
Yeah,
and in 93.
You're right. It's like it's a script.
It's, you know, just like when people, you know, they need to look up that. Have you ever seen that video, Michelle or Lily, where it shows like it's like in the past few years, it shows one news reporter saying, you know, today this happened. And then it goes to two. And
there's actually a newer one. Have you seen the one where they put all the senators together and all the senators are saying the same thing over and over again?
I watched like half of it before I just clicked away from it because, you know, and so I don't know what. Well, I mean, I know that it's endless distractions that make people forget this stuff. It's not like I'm a member of Mensa here, but even I can remember. Like what you're talking about, it's the exact same formulations over and over. And that's because the whole entire time for all this time, you got all these distractions endlessly for decades. Endless distractions there at the bottom. And the whole entire time, they're just up here going, hey, and getting all their stuff together for generational wealth.
I have a theory of why they do this repetitive media stuff, because now it's so obvious that everyone's seeing it. I heard this from somebody else and I agree with it. If they keep having these senators and these people say the same thing over and over again, right? Eventually people are going to think, what is the use of this media? What are the use of these senators when we could just have AI do all the messaging for us? So first, you know what I'm saying? So if we're seeing the senators all say the same thing, we could just have AI do it. Why do we need these senators? Why do we need the media? We don't need any of that, right? Because now people are aware that the media keeps lying. These senators are just saying the same thing over and over again. So now we just hand it over to AI. I thought that was a good theory.
It's a good theory. I will couple it with this, though, is that it seems like for the masses that AI is the one thing where all of a sudden people got some real nasty confirmation bias. And what I mean by that is with any other technology, like let's just say for all of us, as far as being not awake as far as the cult, but just as people. So let's say just to take it across the board that for the past 30 years, we've heard the same thing. And that same thing in this case is, oh, look at this. They've got, you can't design, like, what is this, a MacBook Air? You can't design the next generation of this laptop on this laptop. You've got to have one better than that. Meaning that we've all heard that, shit back in the day and in recent years. Oh man, whatever they show you, they're 50 years ahead of that. Oh man, they got this missile, they got this gun, boy, they have a way more advanced one. This one's just for the consumer. But yet when it comes to AI, I don't hear anybody saying that AI could have been around for the past 30 years and we'd never know the difference.
Right. Yeah, you're right.
AI could have been writing all this shit for the past 20 years. It's the one thing where people, because of the way they present it, cutting edge technology, AI, let's just call it version 1.0. You know they got version 10.0 already, homie. You already know that.
Yes,
True.
and you're bringing up, Jimmy.
You cannot design the G6 computer on a G5. You need a G7 to design the G6, and then a G8 to do the 7, at least. And up and up and up. But yet with AI, oh, this is right now. This is the only thing. This is cutting millisecond stuff. Seriously doubt it. Seriously.
What Jonny is talking about right now is also part of where I'd like to go, and for our future conversations, and that is AI. And what does AI really mean? It's not something that man created.
No, we talked about that. We all created AI. We have all been filling in forms. We have all been editing Wikipedia articles. We have all been effing around with the internet for the past 30 years, feeding the beast. We created AI.
Yeah,
Did the military industrial complex turn it on or whatever? That's like believing that Al Gore invented the internet. When you know it was the military. Oh, it's always some geeky dude in his garage. That's a setup, man. That's the aw shucks, pull yourself up by your bootstraps. Every single person, Warren Buffett, I'm talking, like out of school here, but Warren Buffett, Bill Gates, Steve Jobs, I've seen Steve Jobs' little garage. They all came from this now. Bill Gates' parents were the, president of Planned Parenthood. This is a setup. This is a game they play. We invented AI by feeding it. They just turned it loose.
Hi. They turned
it on. Sorry about that. I was at work, guys. Hey, I sold $140 worth of trees.
Woo! Yes.
And I got a $7 tip. Whoop, whoop.
I love it.
Oh, man, that's even better. That's even better.
I think Culty's in the backstage. I think she's in the backstage waiting to come in. I think.
Oh, she is. Okay, thank you for that reminder.
Yeah. Jonny, what I was going to tell you is mind blowing. You're right. it's already been turned on, and we've been feeding the machine. It's, you know what I mean? It's like it's learning from humans by the information we feed it.
Well, that's why a guy like James Cameron, who's a 33-degree Scottish Rite Freemason, okay? And that's not a theory. The Scottish Rite Freemasonry has their own magazine. You know, they're out there hidden in plain sight, right? So he's been their little cover boy several times. You can look into it. I'm talking a physical magazine, like on the cover of a magazine. That's why he wasn't there the night that Titanic won, because he was down the street in Los Angeles getting his 33rd degree, meaning that imagine in hindsight, I don't have the term for it, but just the mass, whatever, the groupthink that took off when Arnold sat there in that car and explained Skynet, explaining artificial intelligence. In 1991 is when T2 came out, 92 as a huge fan. 92, 02, 12, 22, over 30 years ago. That's put there for a reason. So if even in 1992, if some bodybuilder from Austria sitting in a leather jacket as an actor, as a faker, a liar on screen is sitting there 30 years ago talking about AI becoming self-aware, you know.
Right. It's probably way before then. You're right.
They could have turned out, you know, for all we know, they could have had supercomputers in 1901 and turned that shit on in 1914. I don't know.
Right.
Actually, I just heard something. I just heard something online on television last night regarding there's these big giant columns underneath the pyramids. They look like huge generators with concrete underneath them, under the pyramids. What is that all about? It's some
about
type
this.
of generator of energy.
It's about yes, exactly. Now, what it is it's about the following, and nobody ever really considers this. Very few people do. Is you've got the pyramid, right? So you got the pyramid with its capstone, right? Like we're used to.
Yep.
That's a diamond. It's a diamond. You're going to get a refracting laser. You're going to get a refracting laser. That's why they want to let you go down here. You're going to get a refracting laser at certain times passing over the quartz into the chamber all the way down. This is some kind of, that's the limit of my scope. As above, so below. Is that with everything? No, we know that we build a, but see, it's as above, so below when in accordance with nature. Well, Jonny, a house isn't as above, so below. It only has a foundation that's like this, and you build on top of it. That's a man-made cube structure. You know, what's it called? Euclidean BS, designed to box you in more ways than one. We're talking about working in harmony with nature, but the being, you know, with the constellations, how they're all aligned, all this kind of good stuff. It's a diamond. It's a refracting laser. It's a diamond. And you know who hipped me to that out of all? What's happened here? Everyone else has been kicked off. Obviously, the FBI is swarming in, talking about too much.
Oh, no.
I'm back.
Come on, Michelle. There you are, darling.
It was a coincidence. My hubby was calling me because right now we're having an emergency with our dishwasher. So he was calling to get a part. Yeah, he's going to get a part for it right now. So.
Well, good. Get that dishwasher fixed. You can't have them dishpan hands, girl.
Yeah, we need our kitchen back. It's a mess right now.
Yeah. So where were we? Jonny was talking about something. What were you talking about, Jonny?
Oh, we were just theorizing on the pyramids being
oh, that's right.
An inversion of itself, like some kind of I don't understand. Like, my scope is ultra limited, and I've never even been there. But it would occur to me that it would be, you know, more of a diamond shape. That there would be some kind of a chamber, you know, underneath, and then on top, and then, you know, the sun or the moon. So much hidden knowledge. So much hidden knowledge. It's only through that critical thinking that we can even begin to break the surface of it. So I think that's
and for those who are still, you know, stuck on the Bible as being the Word of God, once you, again, if you go through those scriptures again with critical thinking, you can identify several different beings or supposedly gods, or something is wrong with that one God and he has multiple personalities, because something is definitely wrong. He made us in his image, however we sinned. Okay. But you made us perfect like you, but
Right.
that means you messed something up. God can mess something up. And it
I
says God
was,
is the same all the time. So you made us, but then later on you said, I regret even making you. Wait a minute.
yeah,
If you
that's, well,
just
that's where the
stop
control
and
comes in, obviously. That's where these different versions come in based on current needs, whether it's 1500, years ago or now. Um, to change all that stuff up. I mean, imagine the power before and during the beginning of like printing presses and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Just like when they tell me that that like the Library of Alexandria burned down. You guys didn't get any books out of there? I doubt it.
bingo.
I doubt it. I doubt it.
I
I
suspect they're all in
seriously
the
doubt it.
basement of the Vatican. You think?
Well, the Vatican's got everything. The Vatican also holds every single person's birth certificate as well. They're on some, like I've said before, there's a reason why, and this has nothing to do with anybody that's married. Nothing to do with anybody that is married. The only time that you ever hear of the word husband used besides husband and wife is in animal husbandry. They
Bingo.
want more taxpayers. We view it as a beautiful thing. Michelle and her husband share a special bond, so that's not for them or anybody else that's been married. This is for the cattle, the ones that they want to drain, which is all of us, but like some people like us have broken free and are now questioning. But that's the only time you ever use it, is when you're just viewed as boop, boop, put out one person, put on a boop, 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 boop. Start churning out more cattle. Yeah, the Vatican. A lot of people would wish for immortality. When it comes to one of these genie wishes, I'd want to be invisible. I'd be going right to the Vatican archives. I'd be down in there now.
Exactly. Exactly.
Because those
Speaking of
little jerk offs. Go
speaking
ahead.
of archives, did you guys hear about whenever Gene Hackman and his wife were found recently?
Yep.
Y'all know about that story?
Yeah,
What, they're
very
I
dead?
don't know the
suspicious.
story.
Yeah.
I understood that his wife had been dead several days, and because
Gene
he was
Hackman
so
is
out
dead.
of it. Say it again.
Gene
Yes.
Hackman is passed on.
And his wife
And
And his
his wife
dog.
and the
and one
dog.
dog.
The
So
plot thickens.
here's what I had recently heard somebody talk about. This estate that he was in his 90s, Johnny, his wife was in her 60s, the dog was in a crate. And he died in the crate, and there were a couple of other dogs, and they were outside and they were fine. So here's the theory that something happened to his wife. She was his caregiver and she died. And he, as a Alzheimer type person, couldn't really assimilate what to do. And he wasn't a social media person. He didn't even like to use cell phones. And so therefore he eventually died. And the dog was locked up in the crate in the house. That dog died. So that's the kind of theory of supposedly what happened.
Yeah, it
But
sounds
what they
plausible.
did is they went into so what they did is they went into his estate in Santa Fe. Now, those of you who know some stuff about history, they know that Santa Fe is one of the oldest historical towns, that there would have been trade routes and a lot of things going through. And in the Grand Canyon, which is Santa Fe to the Grand Canyon, was a going to Arizona and down to California, that kind of stuff, Mexico, would have been back in olden times, would have been one of the towns that people, traders and whatnot, would go through, or transporting something to California. So underneath this old estate that he bought that had been added onto, they found all these old tunnels. And in these tunnels and these underground buildings underneath them was bound leather and other parchment bound books and documents and papers. There's a huge archive, so to speak, of historical old written in other languages documents under his
Okay,
home.
so if I can ask real quick, so what you're saying, okay, so I guess I can answer one of my own questions. So what you're saying is Gene Hackman, so he died February, what?
Something.
6 hours ago, like 2 weeks ago.
It's been about
Doesn't
2
show
weeks
me which
ago, I think.
day. Okay, they were found on February 26th, which is what, yesterday? Or no, I was like, what am I thinking? Like a month ago. So they were found, like, man, I'm behind. I didn't even know he passed away. So what you're saying is that he passed away and then they found this?
Yes. So
That doesn't sound right.
okay, no. There's a couple of places that
That's really cool if it's suddenly discovered.
here's my thought. Okay, so this would have been 100 or more years ago, even during Spanish American times, that this would have been where they hid stuff. And these are documents, like you guys were talking about, Alexandrian stuff. So what if these are some old documents that were brought over from another country and they had a destination or they stored them there for safekeeping? And it doesn't really have anything to do with Gene Hackman, but this was, picture a very small settlement back in the 1800s, 1700s, 1600s, wherever in history the town of Santa Fe grew and expanded out, there was this cache already of information there. And it wasn't like Hackman was taking care of it or anything. It was just there. He probably inherited it, so to speak, that it was already stored there. And there are also walls, lots of walls and hieroglyphics engraved in these walls under his estate, under his original home. And so they did find many years ago an area in the Grand Canyon where there were lots and lots of Egyptian pieces of history, caves and ruins of Egyptian origin. And they eventually, I think it was in the 40s or maybe before, they sealed those off from the general public. So I can easily see that Egyptian hieroglyphic, all of that era was in the Americas somehow or another. And so that nominal estate built above all those hidden catacombs where they found all these documents, and somebody showed like a picture of, because they don't even know what all is there. And it was very dilapidated. It wasn't like something that was upkept. There was water puddles on the ground. It's just a set of ruins underneath where that home was eventually built and then remodeled throughout the common generations. And when I saw those documents, I thought, wow, what are these? And then they showed the walls, the hieroglyphics written on the walls. That's what I want to find out about. That's what I want to hear more about. Not some, conspiracy theory thing, Gene Hackman was killed, blah, 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 blah. I want to hear more about what they found under his home.
Where did you see that, Lily? Where?
I'm going to try and find the video.
Because that's like a problem, actually, is where that information is supposed to be coming from to find that out. Because this is what's messed up. When you look up what you're talking about on the internet, AI, as we know, is the first result now, whether you want it to be or not. Mm-hmm. I'm sure that's So AI says no, complete hoax. Then the Reddit and other boards say yes, it's real. blah, blah, blah. But once again, that's all coming through the plastic box. I've been down inside of the Grand Canyon personally, but that's my only experience with it. Beyond that, how we're supposed to figure that out and know what's real and what's not is becoming like a door's closing on that, to where only our gut instinct with new shit's gonna come into play, because that door between verifiable facts and beyond what we already know with new information, like you can look it up yourself, like just a Google search, which I know is just Google, that's fine, that's controlled by the government too, but all of them are, that's foolish to believe that they're not all controlled, just like trying to convince me that the dark web is not controlled by the government. Of course it is. That there's something weird with that, because I can't comprehend right now how we're supposed to be able to actually verify that or a lot of new things when there's literally within one search, Egyptian artifacts found in Grand Canyon, AI overview, complete hoax. Then down here, not a hoax, not a hoax, hoax, not a hoax, hoax.
Well, don't you think his name is intriguing? Well, right now they're trying to hack men's genes, and Gene Hackman died.
Well,
Exactly.
yeah, you're bringing up some.
Hackman, Gene
you're bringing up
Hackman.
some.
Yeah.
Well, exactly, and you're
Hackman,
bringing
yeah.
up some. Yeah. Michelle's been rubbing that crystal extra hard. She's bringing up some deep concepts here, because when Lily was telling me about him owning that place and then them finding stuff, I'm sitting there going, so maybe actors are put into place not only for other things, but then they also have these properties. AKA, I want to know every property that all these major stars own, around the world, or at least in this country. Let's just say this country. So, Hackman had like a Gene Hackman's size of estate. So he had X amount of acres, and then he dies a month ago, and they immediately move in and just know everything, and they start going down and finding all this stuff.
Right.
Something's wrong in Denmark about that.
Yeah.
Say what?
My spidey senses are going off.
Yeah, I don't like it. 12-acre compound. 12-acre compound. It ain't nothing for a guy like Hackman. That's actually quite small. So obviously that 12-acre compound with the underground stuff, it sits on a much larger thing underneath it. So for him to, between what you're saying, Michelle, which I like, that's that mushroom talk right there. There's something. My spidey sense doesn't like that at all. That seems
explain what you mean, Jonny. Explain what you mean
by
when you say your spidey sense. Do you mean that you think that it was discovered on purpose, or that? Tell me more. When I watched the news feed on it, was from somebody, I don't remember who.
There we go.
They were showing the Santa Fe police people, and the original detectives that went there to do a wellness check, and then they made their summarization, whether or not that's all accurate or not. But when they were talking about what they were finding under the building, and then I was thinking about, because I lived in New Mexico, in Santa Fe in particular, and it's close proximity when they talked about all these miles and miles of caverns that were sealed off. And I thought about Los Alamos, which is above Santa Fe, and Dulce base, military base.
Bases. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That there's a lot of proximity there. That's all very close. And the concept of, where are we going to stash all this information that we have that, is from ancient, and we'll just stick it here. And close proximity to Los Alamos, which was the giant think tank of the 40s or 30s, 40s, and 50s, in terms of the stuff bringing not just the Nazis, but the Jewish people that they Americanized in order to have their knowledge and information. Is anybody, help me out a little bit. Whenever supposedly some of the people inventing various things and being part of that era, America wanted their information. The Oppenheimers and the
Like the
different ones.
oh, like
Are you?
patents and stuff. They wanted the patents on things and inventions and things like that.
Or like, are you talking about maybe like reverse engineering stuff or?
Yes, yes,
Okay.
yes. Thank you.
Okay.
So it's like I can definitely. I don't even have to stretch very far to think that, going back to what you guys said about Alexandria and all this stuff being destroyed, I don't buy it either. I think that so much of that was a cover up so they don't have it in one archive for basic people like us to easily read and learn about the real history of our world. That's
And
where my
again, it
mind
brings
goes.
us right back to the Bible again. In the
Thank
garden,
you.
God was pissed off because they ate of the tree of what? Of knowledge, not the
Yep.
tree of
Right.
life. I don't care if you live forever, but don't you question this. Don't you mess up the things that we lined up. It's knowledge.
And what's funny is that between what you just said, what Lily just said, and then what Michelle said a minute ago, all ties together. Like Michelle's right over the flipping target. Like, just like what you just said, Michelle, in a lesser way, all we can do is compare what we would do in any given situation, in my opinion, and then multiply that out based on importance. What I mean by that is, what's the first thing you're supposed to do when you win the lottery?
Shut your mouth.
Shut up, go home, sign the ticket, draw the curtains, don't tell anybody. So what in the world happens when they open up a cave in Anytown, USA and find, give me that.
Yeah, that's
Quiet.
my question. Why
Quiet.
are they telling us this?
Now,
Why are they
right,
telling us
and then-
But you don't see it now.
But then I can tie that in with what Michelle is saying about Gene Hackman and stuff like that. So even though this seems a bit off base, take that and then come over here. Tomorrow night, like this is fantasy talk. This is thought experiment. Like there's what, 1, 2, 3, there's 4 of us here. Culty's here too. So there's 5 of us here. So let's say, we'll just throw it on me. Let's say that like I tell you guys, oh, hey, tomorrow I'm going to be interviewed on television. And you're like, okay, the subject doesn't matter. And it's going to be live or pre-recorded. That doesn't matter either. But oh, Jonny's going to be on TV tomorrow. He's going to be interviewed about something cool. Well, I'm going to say hi to you guys. Oh, cool. They're going to give you that kind of airtime to say hello, Michelle. Hello, Monica. Hello, Lily. Hello, Culty. No. At about 5 minutes in, I'm just going to do a little thing. And that's how you're going to know. You know, I'm going to give you a little sign that nobody else knows. I'm going to do something, you know, I'm going to, whatever that it is. Right.
Carol
So as
Burnett,
far
when
as
she
the
did
movie is
that.
right. You know, so in between verbal things like Gene Hackman or actors being put on television to portray cops or whatever, something ain't right. And what I do know is a fact. And I used to be way into this 20 years ago, and I haven't gotten back into it again because, well, I just didn't really want to. It's like a whole other vein of things where you start to take what's shown on mass media, in this case in America or anywhere, and you start to decode it in the way that Michelle's talking about, visually or otherwise. You know, take any of these, in my opinion, false flag school shootings or whatever. You know, there'd be the guys always name something perfect for the role.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
And the
They always
numbers
got,
mean a lot.
Charles Manson, the Night Stalker, showing up to court. You know, like, do you remember when Richard Ramirez was in court and he had he said "Hail Satan" and had the pentagram on his palm? You know what I'm talking about? Tall, skinny Mexican guy, Richard Ramirez. There was a serial killer named the Night Stalker. Like, they've made movies about this guy in the 90s in California and LA. Like, I grew up in California during the whole satanic panic. all the Ted Bundy wasn't in Cali. But point being, if you look at this guy, Richard Ramirez, the Night Stalker, it's all a game. This is all a game. He was a serial killer, attacked young women, whatever. He got caught. He got sentenced. But this guy shows up in court like Manson. You know, you see Manson. You know, I've been arrested. I've been in court. You're in a jumpsuit. These guys, jean jacket, Ray-Bans on, or, you know, mirror shades. What is this joke?
Yeah,
Cops don't really allow that to happen in regular jail. They don't allow it to happen in regular jail. Right, so Richard Ramirez should have put, well, just real quick, Richard Ramirez shows up to court, and like this guy looking like just like David Koresh. It's all the same profile. The mirrored glasses, the part down the middle hair that's got, it's like, he had like Farrah Fawcett hair, fantastic head of hair. Right. You know, and his cool glasses, he's all done up, he's got his little shirt on, but he showed up with the, I'm always getting them confused, with the upside down star in the circle, a pentagram on his hand, and he, hail Satan. When you look at that picture and look at the pentagram that is in his palm, it's perfect. You're telling me that he took a ballpoint pen or a Sharpie and sat there with or without handcuffs on? I don't care, especially with sweaty palms, hands behind your back like this.
No, it's a photo
somebody stenciled that on there and drew it perfectly for him.
Jonny,
you know, go ahead.
It's just like the Trump assassination. That picture will forever be ingrained in our minds. It's the most perfect picture you'll ever see in history. Mm-hmm. And you can watch that video over and over again. Everything looks so orchestrated. It's all like that. And you brought up the term false flag, and I want to clarify for anyone watching that hates that term. False flag, I want everyone to be clear on this. False flag does not mean something didn't happen and we're just like saying everything is an illusion. False flag is something that actually can happen. People actually get hurt, but what they're telling us isn't the correct story. That's what a false flag is. And a lot of people misunderstand when we use that term. They think we're saying nothing actually happened.
Well, yeah, right.
There's something else also, like before when you were bringing up actors and who plays what part, like for example, the man who plays Lucifer on that show. All of this has to do with gematria. If you watch a channel, it's called Decode Your Reality. He breaks it down. Like there's a reason why everything is scripted, like lives are scripted. There's a reason why Trump is who he is. There's so much behind it, and he breaks all these people down, like who the actors are and when they play these parts, why they're chosen to play these parts. It's a lot of information there.
Well,
and actually, Trump actually said remember the photo op he did? He said, "I am the chosen one." Do you guys remember that?
Yeah.
He said he was the chosen one. And a lot of people see Trump as the savior. I think, however, that Trump he's a player for both sides. It's the same bird, but just a different wing. Yes. And it's almost like a chess game of which side is going to bring in that new world order. Right. And they're fighting amongst themselves to bring it in, but it's coming. Because in gematria, Trump is the last president. Yes. Absolutely. Yes.
Well, in his photo op with Zelensky, he literally told the whole world stage this would be perfect for television. He literally said that to the whole world.
Yes.
This fight is perfect for television. And you're like, yeah, it's because it's WWE fake fighting.
Exactly.
And people are supposed to believe this is real. It's not real. It's a show.
Right. Unless we forget that Trump did wrestling. He appeared.
Watch the symbols too. Like on Zelensky's shirt, you notice the Triton.
Yes.
On his suit. That is a huge symbol.
Oh yes, I love that. Good point.
Yep. You're right.
Every millisecond is completely thought out as much as possible. Like when I used to edit audio and video for a living, like half a life ago. I mean, we could be filming the most basic music video, but every single second, just like a dang hamburger commercial. You know, the hamburger fake, they got sprays and spritz. There's 20 guys around and there's all kinds of every millisecond crafted. And that's just for a damn hamburger.
Right.
So for stuff like this, between Culty and Michelle with the Gene Hackman and the gematria, that's getting into an area that people, that's next level type stuff.
A lot of people don't realize it. They don't realize it until they start realize. They don't realize. Right, exactly.
Nobody even thinks about the fact that the president, like there's kings and emperors and stuff, but here in the corporation of the United States, oh, well, that's President Donald Trump or President Truman, George Washington. Only businesses have a president. Only corporations have presidents.
And that's what the United States is a corporation.
Right, not natural rulers. So between Vatican City not being a part of Rome, between the city of London not being a part of London, and Washington, D.C. not being really a part of the United States as far as the political, financial, and religious control trifecta, it's all right there. When the Queen comes to the city of London, she has to ask permission. Look it up. When the Queen comes to London, the city of London, not London, England, but the city of London, the 1 square mile within, she has to get permission to do so. She doesn't.
Because it's almost like it's its own country.
It is in every which way of the word.
Isn't Washington, D.C. like that too? Isn't Washington, D.C. also?
All three.
Yeah.
All three. Yeah. They've got the city of London for the financial, they've got the Vatican City for the religious control, and they've got Washington, the District of Columbia for the political control. Yeah. In modern times, that's the trifecta. Oh, well, Switzerland's got a lot of money too. Doesn't matter. It's about location as well. Switzerland's off the radar over here. It's because London was chosen for, well before any of us were ever even thought of. And that's fine, but that's how and why they protect themselves. It's a corporation, and when you break down words like corporation, it's a talking dead person. A corporation has rights. Yeah. A corpse is a corps, just like Marine Corps are dead Marines, bodies to be given. A corporation is a talking corpse, an animated dead thing. In this case, a corporation that orates through a corpse. And has legal rights, and the whole deal with all of that is that there is only one responsibility that a corporation has, and that is to increase profits for its shareholders no matter what. If you made $100 billion for your corporation, for the shareholders last quarter, if you don't make more than that this quarter, no matter what it takes, your ass gets hauled into court. That's why houses fall apart. That's why everything is made so crappy. That's why people are mistreated, because it is to keep this game going. Right. It is illegal to not do everything possible to make more money than last year. So imagine that you had a hot dog stand and that was true. And you made $100,000 the first year at their hot dog stand, but you got shareholders, you're beholden. You're not just working for yourself. You got 100 people who are standing around going, you better make 200 grand. Well, I can't. There's no business. There's only $100,000 worth of business here. You better think of something. Buy cheaper hot dogs. Cheat people. Lie to people. Steal. Make the cart out of toothpicks instead of steel. If you have to, just get it done, or your butt's on the line. They've got it. They're very, very good. I'm just these days.
People have to also realize this is happening globally. This is not just an America thing. This is something that's happening all over. So we have to understand that this is not left versus right. This is not, red versus blue. This is literally, we saw it happen in 2020 and lockstep when all the countries did the same things. We all saw it. So anyone who questions it, like I remember my sister telling me, and she's still a JW, telling me, how could 8 million JWs be tricked? Well, I just saw COVID happen, so I know billions were tricked. So you and
they didn't even have to pull out a gun to do it. Right. They didn't even have to. You have to shove a pistol in somebody's face to make them give them your wallet. on the street. They made, for lack of a better term, 8 billion people without ever even having to do nothing. They've been setting up the fear. They've been setting up the fear.
Actually, I don't live in fear, but that actually is the most terrifying part. It's not the governments and the people running things. It's the people that are so complicit and go along with it. That's terrifying to me, that you're not asking questions, that you're not looking at things critically. That's terrifying to me.
That's what the mind control television is for.
What people aren't realizing, though, in the big picture, is that this is a controlled demolition of the United States. Although it's happening all over the world because they do want to bring in a one world government. Here, this has been planned for many, many hundreds of years to strategically bring down specifically the United States. And
exactly.
People are not catching on to that.
You guys recall seeing on the United States map the olive, I think it's called. It's like an A. It correlates with the two eclipses, and then the one that went across. It actually makes the olive, which is supposed to be the mark of God or whatever, and it actually crosses what they're called Carbondale, Illinois, which is called the Little Egypt, and they found artifacts there as well in Illinois.
I've heard of that. Yeah, I heard about that.
And then to kind of piggyback off of you, Johnny, of being a little your spidey senses about why are they finding all these ancient books under Gene Hackman's house all of a sudden. But remember that we're also living in the age of Aquarius. Everything that's been done in the dark is coming to light. Maybe it's part of the awakening process. All this information is bubbling up to the top for the folks who haven't awakened. Hello, wake up.
Right. It's caught up with them now because even though they've tried their damnedest and done a really good job at it, there's like a leapfrog thing that's happening to where all of a sudden you get enough people of any age, let's say like the up and coming generations, they're not having it anymore.
Yeah, that consciousness is raising. That Christ consciousness is arising. And we're all awakening. The more of us that awaken, we're on the same accord. It breaks the matrix. We are the ones.
And people have to be like triple, quadruple, infinite entendre about it. Oh, Gene Hackman, his books, all this other kind of stuff. Show me the books. And what are you doing while everybody's gathered around the television watching Gene Hackman, just an actor? Like, rest in peace and all, especially if he was a good person, but it's just an actor. 12,500 98-year-olds just died alone in their home. What are you doing? Well, that's on. We bring you live. We're here with the Santa Fe Police Department. Blah blah blah. What are you doing right now?
Right.
Where's the books? Are there books?
Right.
You know.
I also think it's interesting that that right now we're in the year of the snake, and I personally think that Trump is a snake, and snakes are known to be deceptive. And,
yes.
and you know what I'm saying? So there's a snake in the White House. People are believing the lies, and they're being tricked by the serpent.
This is why he repeats that poem. He loves to read that poem about the serpent, doesn't he?
He does. He says, you should have known better. I am a snake.
They're telling you every day exactly who they are. You just have to listen.
Right.
You're here.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Trump has been. I think he's been brought in for a purpose, and he's going to bring the chaos. Mm-hmm. It's going to appear like he's a savior at first, but then he's going to become this dictator that they're saying he's going to become, and I think that is real.
I do too. The leftists have something right there. The leftists have something right with that situation. They think he's a dictator, and I think that the leftists are actually right on this.
I think so too.
Mm-hmm.
And yet, every single time, that's exactly the way it's gone with everybody. I'm only old enough to. Who was the first president? If I was born in '81, Reagan. From Reagan onward, in my very good memory, it's all the same. Savior.
And Reagan's like Trump. But you're right. Reagan, he's the same. Both Reagan and Trump are both actors. Okay, Trump had his own show, The Apprentice. They're both actors. Reagan came.
Arnold Schwarzenegger's governor of California.
They all came in the same way, and so it's like there's a lot of similarities between the two. Even with Reagan, it was allegedly it was really bad before Reagan came in. With Trump, it was really bad. They had a guy with dementia in the White House, and so he's supposed to come in and save everything. So there's a lot of similarities. You're right. As you look back at history, it repeats itself.
And I'm
Yeah,
glad you said that
ultimately, I think
because that ties
ultimately,
right back into the. I'm sorry. It kind of ties back into the Sumerian text again about a cycle, and this stuff has happened over and over again, over and over again. Every 3,600 years is when the gods are supposed to come back, and we're in that window now. So things are changing rapidly.
At warp
And
speed. At warp speed. Pun intended.
At warp speed.
And
they have to stop us from awakening.
And a few minutes ago, Culty was talking about how this has been going on for a long time. And that is the reason for distractions on the masses. Whenever I talk about this stuff, it's always the masses, just the sheep, whatever, the big group of people that support the parasitic elite. And what I mean by that is that not anybody here presently, but once again, the masses, it's all about today. It's all about, oh, you've only got, 80 years, 100 years, 50 years, who knows, you might die this second, and that's fine. Point being is, like Culty is saying, but in a little bit different twist, is these people are in it to win it. But they're actually, unlike the masses, they're able to back it up. And it's easier for them because of wealth. But what I mean by this is that they're multi-generational. You've got, let's just say, it doesn't matter what family. Let's say 300 years ago, 500 years ago, some family comes into power and they're from wherever they're from. They've got a plan. And the members inside of that current generation know they're only going to have a certain amount of time on this plane. They're going to get it while they can, get it while it's hot, but they're preparing for the other people that are coming through their lineage that are not even born yet. Then you cut to 300 years later, and you've got people in New York that are from this place. You've got people put here that are from this place. Whereas all of us are distracted and so chemical pleasure chasing that it's only about right now. We might put our kid through college. We might put a couple $100 in a piggy bank. But these fools, they have the ability and the will, unlike the masses that they control, which has to be broken free from, to say, hey, I'm only me. Like, all that I want in life is my own small homestead. Now, when I have that, now I have two choices. Either I plan for my own exit out of this life to another one and set people up with love. Obviously, they're working for evil to benefit from that down through my lineage. Find a woman, have a son, have grandkids, blah, 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 blah. Now I'm long gone, but I've left it here. The masses are not willing to do that because of the programming, because of the control, and because, people give up. We all have, almost given up at one point. Whereas, like Culty is saying, this is a long time coming. And there's certain key players that are willing to, it's not admirable because they're parasites, but they've got a lot more, chutzpah, for lack of a better word, than the masses
I was thinking the same word. They're in it for the long game, baby.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And that's because, we have been born into, you got to get as much, at least for like my programming was, you need as many cool cars, women, drugs, sex, and rock and roll. You might die tomorrow. Screw it, man. We're going to Vegas. Screw it. Where really it should be, get set up, do it right, hard work now, then go enjoy. But instead, it's just all that. Whereas they got it set up. Look at a rich, like, the following is, it just is what it is. So it's not even about one race. Look at any, not rich, but wealthy. Find me a wealthy Christian in this country that wears a cross. That's for the masses. Find me a billionaire that wears name brand clothes, chasing that BS. Not custom made. Ain't no. It's only the middle class that has to Gucci. unless you're like a star getting paid to wear it for a few seconds. As soon as that's off and they're not at a show, they take that off. You get some cheap ass shirt that says Gucci on it, and you know that it's a Hanes t-shirt with Gucci on it. No, I'm getting mine custom fitted, custom made. They don't wear that stuff. They don't participate in that stuff. Just like you never hear, you never see a wealthy person, once again, not rich, but wealthy, multi-generational, forget the Forbes list, the ones that aren't even on it. They don't participate in this mass stuff. They eat the simplest yet best foods. They have desires and needs like any other person, so they might go have a Big Mac every once in a while, but otherwise, not going to be caught dead doing it. They don't participate in that game. And we should follow suit with that to stop participating in some of these games and be in it to win it and get organized, especially internationally. That's where I failed and need to stop failing, is I need to get international and meet people internationally. Then, no matter what happens, I can, hey man, they're over here, the MSN. Hey, buddy in Paris, what's going on? Yeah, the MSN in Paris just said some BS. Point the camera at your TV. Let me see what you guys are talking about. Because we're not supposed to watch Russia Today news. I'm sure over in Russia, they're like, don't you dare watch Fox News. Just complete grids of control. Just boop, 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 boop. And yet once we all get together like this, just 4 people or 5 people on a screen, that's a grain of sand of possibilities on the beach of all of this. Is that all of a sudden you've got a network of, like, what do they say? A person can really only know about 150 people before that starts to disintegrate the quality of those connections. There's some kind of like a law about that, but that's each person. So if we eventually can all know like 100,000 people in total, well, now we're really in it to win it. Now we can really filter through the BS and get to even more truth, because with the onset of AI and just the games that they play and all kinds of other stuff, it's going to become more difficult to tell. Only our spidey sense, that gut instinct translator, is going to be able to differentiate that something don't seem right. So yeah, long-winded, my bad, but we got to be in it to win it like they are. But for the light, for the good, for control.
That's a good place. That's a good place for me to end. It's been 2 hours, so I probably should.
Exactly. I'm about to say the thing, and another person is coming up. I might make some more money, y'all. But I love this. I love that we're able to talk about this stuff, and we don't think we each other's are crazy.
Right. We got to do this
for
again.
asking these questions. This is so vital for us. Please come back. I so appreciate you guys popping in. We're going to do this again after the meeting gets moved and everything. We're going to have it set. Let's kind of talk about which day of the week that you'd like it. I was thinking at least solidly one day every week we're going to have these wonderful discussions. But let's get together and see what time and days will work for most of us.
I would love that.
Yeah,
hey,
for
Jonny,
sure.
Thank you so much.
Jonny, before I
Appreciate
leave you, I sent you a friend request on the Discord, and I don't think you've been on there in a while, have you?
No, I haven't.
All right.
Yeah, I'll get back on there. I'm actually editing, because I know that you saw that one video, and I took that video down.
Oh yeah,
right?
I noticed that. Yeah.
Okay, and it's because I had to kind of take a step back from it, but I'm doing my first new video now. So yeah, as soon as I'm done here, it's on this phone here. I'll go on the Discord and accept that and get back into that, because I did take a step back, and that's because that's my reaction, being alone for so long in this. That's the wrong reaction. Let me take a step back and just remember. Nope. I need to come this way with you guys and keep that ball going. So
yeah,
expect
it can get frustrating, right?
Yeah.
It can get frustrating when you're like out here and you're trying to talk, and you're not getting the reception that you think. But if you keep at it, people are starting to listen. So
and we'll support
Absolutely.
you, Jonny. We will.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And that's like that. Literally, no BS means the world to me, because I just like I would for you guys, and will. It's that I had gotten so far ahead of myself in the past, because once again, I've been out for 27 years.
Wow.
And I don't feel like I don't feel my age or anything. So I don't I forget that, holy crap, 98, 08, oh my God, man, at 17. So
Wow.
I was trying to pack, like in that first video, I was like, it was like overload where I was trying to pack so much into those first 12 minutes that it was like, no, wait a minute. Boop, boop. Then we'll boop, then we'll boop, then we'll boop, then we'll boop.
Baby steps.
So yeah.
It's What About Bob? Baby steps.
Baby steps, man. That's such a good movie.
Yes. We just watched that one recently. It was so
we
funny.
just watched it in the Discord. That's why I was like, if you shoot a text to me in the Discord, we're on a different server now, and I'll shoot you an invite.
Okay, cool.
We have some awesome topics on there. We've got a lot of spiritual stuff going on.
Like,
Monica, we would love to have you too, and Lily.
Okay.
If you guys
use
can,
Discord.
We are already posting your videos in there, Monica.
Oh yeah, we're sharing your information, Monica.
There we go.
Awesome.
It would be really nice to have you. You know.
I would love to come. And it's on
reading to
Discord.
everybody.
I don't even know how to do that. I have to figure it out. Johnny, help me later of how to do all the Discord stuff because I can barely do this.
You're going to be Monica Spielberg by the time I'm done. You'll be all good.
Right.
Okay. All right. Okay, guys. I gotta go.
Okay. Bye, guys.
Thank you so much.
Take care.
Mwah.
Thank
Have
you.
a blessed day. Okay.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.